Every single offseason in the NFL, there are huge trades that we may not think will happen, or we do think it happens, but it goes a different way. Today, we're going to talk about one player on every NFC team who could get traded. I did AFC yesterday, so if you haven't already, please check that out. Comment down below who you think is going to get traded this offseason, the biggest name that's going to get traded, and who do you want your team to acquire. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe, and let's get right into it. All right, so first up for the NFC, representing the NFC East, we have America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Some of these teams were really hard to pick from. Dallas was one of them, just because I don't really know what quite direction they're gonna head in. Obviously, like I said, the rule is I can't pick unrestricted free agents, people who are going to be free agents. If I would have definitely picked George Pickens, maybe like a tag and trader type deal. But for Dallas, what I'm going to say sounds crazy, and I ask that you don't unsubscribe and click off the video already. Just give it a chance. But something tells me in my gut that Mr. Dak Prescott may have played his last game with the Dallas Cowboys. Am I right? 90% chance I'm not. I know that. But if I'm right, I'll look like a genius. I know he has 4 years left on his deal, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe in the summer he's going to be like, is this team right for me? They'll draft a quarterback with their third round pick, that they're high on for future. George Pickens might or might not be on the team, might get a little sick of the Jerry Jones treatment. We'll see. And, not going to throw it out there too much, but Mike McCarthy's with the Steelers now. Steelers probably need a quarterback if Rodgers doesn't retire. Could they trade for Dak? I don't know. We never know. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just throwing it out there. Just so if I'm right, you guys can come back to this video. Please don't unsubscribe. It was a hot take. Next up, we have the New York Giants. They have a lot of unrestricted free agents. I don't think they're going to change the defense up too much because I still think it's a good unit. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, McFadden, and Okereke can get tackles. Adebo is good in the slot. Drew Phillips, nickel corner, not bad. Deontay Banks is a name I think they should try to get going. Same with Kayvon Tibio. But I ultimately went with Devin Singletary just because he's the third running back right now, and he has 1 year left on his deal, and I believe he's like 20. He's 28. So, and Tyrone Tracy Jr., young running back, he's ahead of him, and obviously Cam Skadaboo's their one. So I think it would just make sense for both sides if the Giants moved on from Devin Singletary. I know he's third player in the depth chart, but I just think it makes sense. Singletary isn't that bad. I could see him, going to a team, maybe being the 2 or whatever, but I think that's just who the Giants will probably trade or release is Devin Singletary, the former Bill. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if this is really going to happen, but I went with AJ Brown. It's tough. Obviously, he's voiced frustration playing there. I heard when their season ended, he didn't talk to much people on his way out. He's 28 years old, got in an argument with a coach, that video, Nick Sirianni, and then that video of Nick yelling in the tunnel, and AJ Brown just gave him a look like, what is this guy yelling about? It just kind of screams that he wants a fresh start, new change of scenery, and we'll have to see. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I think the new offensive coordinator will convince him to come back, that we can, play better, do better. But realistically, if he's not traded by the draft, he's not going to get traded. And then I think after that, it could be a midseason type of deal for A.J. Brown next year. Next up, we have the Washington Commanders. I think this is definitely going to be someone on the defense. This team needs to get younger. They know it. They need draft picks. They don't have many. And I went with my boy Frankie Louvu. He has 1 year left on his deal. He's 29 years old. Usually when a team wants to get younger, get some draft picks, they trade players who are around 30 years old. Frankie Louvu is a good player. Underrated sideline to sideline linebacker, but they would get good value out of him, maybe a second or a third. So I think they would do it. Um, hopefully, Carolina can make a move. But Frankie Louvu is just really the name for Washington. Like I said, I just think this is going to be a team that gets younger. Just look at the defense: Deron Payne, Bobby Wagner, Marshawn Lattimore, Frankie Louvu, Javon Kinlaw. Like all these players are so older. They didn't stay healthy last year. They didn't play the best. So I think Commanders, like I said, they're just going to be one of those teams who um going to get younger and get some draft picks and load up for the future. All right, moving on, we have the Chicago Bears from the NFC North. Um, Kind of a tougher situation too. Props to the Bears for their contract spread because look at this offense starting. There's nobody that needs a new contract. Same with the defense, realistically. Um, Team that won't change much. They'll just get better if anything. But I said DJ Moore. He's got 4 years left on his deal. 28 years old. Um, Good football player, underrated. He struggled a bit in times this year, but Rome Odunze, Luther Burden have been playing really good for the Bears, so I feel like they're gonna need contracts soon. I mean, what? They're both like 23 and 24. Luther's 22 and Rome is 23. So they're both gonna need contracts soon. So you can't give DJ all that money. So I think they're gonna trade him around draft time. He's an incredible player though, wherever he goes, whether he stays with the Bears or goes somewhere else. He's an incredible player, and if it's possible for him to go back to Carolina, I'd love it. But we'll see what happens. Next up we have the Detroit Lions. This one was a tough one too, considering the fact that the Lions have a lot of young players playing, like Terrion Bryan, DJ Reed's middle of the pack in age. Hutch obviously isn't going anywhere. He's gonna stay with the Lions his whole career. Jared Goff, he's getting older. If anything, they'll draft a quarterback to, come in for development. J-Mo played well this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown played well this year. Isaac Tesla made big plays. I went with Demo. I think he's going to stay there. He's solid running back. But I think the only way David Montgomery gets traded is if a team calls the Lions and says, yo, I need a proven veteran running back. We will give you two third-round picks for him. I don't know if a team would do that, but if it's the Lions won't be going around making phone calls. It will be a team that calls the Lions in desperation if he gets traded. That's just my prediction. Probably won't happen, but like I said, it's going to be a team that desperately needs a running back that makes that call. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers. I really had no idea who to go here. Christian Watson's going to be there still. Golden just played his rookie year. This receiver room needs some work, especially if Romeo Doubs isn't back. I feel like this has been a problem every single year for Green Bay now. But ultimately, I went with Isaiah McDuffie, 26 years old. I just picked him because look at the people ahead of him, right? You have Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, Micah Parsons in that role too. So he's not really going to play much. And they're high on Lucas Finesse. He's a younger player. So he's not going to go anywhere. I just went with Isaiah McDuffie. I think it makes the most sense out of all the players on Green Bay. Next up, Minnesota. I know a lot of people think Joseph Jefferson. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think there's approximately a 10% chance he gets traded. Oh my gosh, he's 27 already? Oh my gosh, where have these years gone by, man? These guys were just rookies. Uh, wow. Maybe he could get traded then. No, but ultimately, I decided to go with Ryan Kelly. Good player, but he's 32 years old. Vikings might want to get a little younger at that position. Just Ryan Kelly, I mean, he's good. May retire soon, but I know Michael Jurgens is a younger player, younger than Brian Kelly. They might want him to step up, or if they draft. So we'll see, but I just went with Brian Kelly because a lot of these guys on the defense I think are gonna stay. So we'll have to see, but this is another team that's kind of tough because obviously JJ isn't gonna go anywhere, right? All right, moving on, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Woo. Um, I would say Tyler Algier, but I think he's just gonna sign somewhere for a fresh start. He's a solid running back. But I just went with the layup here. Call me whatever you want, lazy or whatever, but it's obviously Kirk Cousins for the Falcons. 37 years old. I think he'd be more of a release than anything, but he could get sent to another team with a trade, late round draft pick, whatever team calls. Maybe the Browns. I have no idea, but I still think Kirk can start. I just don't know if he's going to be a guy right now to take a team to the Super Bowl. That's just kind of where I stand on him right now. But I've always liked Kirk. I loved watching him since he played for the Vikings. So, good player. Next up, we have the best team in the NFL, the NFC 2025 NFC South champions, the Carolina Panthers. Um, Tough to pick on one of my players a little bit, huh? But just quick roster evaluation. This receiver core is underrated. Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker. Bryce Tremaine's huge in the blocking game. Jimmy Horn Jr. needs to get more jet sweeps. The Panthers do need to add a receiver, though. Don't get me wrong. Um, Jalen Coker definitely needs to be brought back. And then offensive line is very underrated. Hopefully, we bring Cade Mays back. And Yosh too for a cheap deal. Maybe Austin Corbett, maybe not. Same with Brady, cheap deals. Rico Dowdle, I know, is gonna walk somewhere because he wants running back one carries and he wants running back one money, and he's not gonna get here with Chuba Hubbard, which I think Chuba Hubbard is better. Plus Jonathan Brooks is coming back. And then defensively, we're not really losing much. I mean, Nick Scott, I'd pay for his plane ride to any other team, respectfully. Lathan Ransom will step up in that role. Isaiah Simmons had a huge blocked punt. I'd love for him to come back another year with Carolina. And then outside of that, Christian Roseboom, if we can bring him back on a cheap deal. And the defense is in a solid spot. Just need to bring in another corner, probably. I know JC and Mike played well, but outside of that, and then Derek Brown and another defense tackle, Ashawn and Tershawn isn't bad. But the Panthers just need that punch for edge rusher. Nick Scorin and Princely are going to be great players, but we need a proven guy. We just need that. We're missing that spark. But the player I went with that's going to get traded is guard Chandler Zavala. Not many people might know who he is, but he's 26 years old. He's definitely struggled for the Panthers. He's been here for a little bit since 2023. I think it's time. I think he's either going to get released or traded. But that's really one of the players I could see for the Carolina Panthers. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Lusineers. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I think Chris Godwin is going to get traded. It may sound crazy. I don't know if he's actually going to get traded, but 30 years old. I mean, injury history. Hopefully he can stay healthy in the future. But Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans will probably sign somewhere else. If he comes back, Chris Godwin's definitely traded. We'll have to see, but I just feel like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both played their last seasons in Tampa. Plus, they're just frustrated right now. So I think they'll both want a change of scenery. For New Orleans, he doesn't want it to happen, but I think after he sits on this decision for a while in the offseason, he's going to request one. That is Alvin Kamara. I mean, dude should request a trade yesterday from that team. 30 years old. He's been there his whole career, however many seasons he's played, 9 years. Get out of there and go get a chance to win a ring, bro. Go to Kansas City. Go to, Seattle if they don't bring back Kenneth Walker, I guess. Just go to a team that is competent and gives you a chance to win the Super Bowl, because you're not going to get that with New Orleans. Alvin Kamara is one of those players who deserves a Super Bowl ring, and he's not going to get one if he doesn't try to get out of his current situation. All right, moving on, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and we're not even going to really talk much about this one. I think we all know who's going to get traded. It is Kyler Murray. I know he has like 3 years left on his contract, pretty expensive, but 28 years old. I think, new coach, which is Mike LaFleur for Arizona, they're going to head in a different direction. And I think Kyler definitely wants a fresh start. Where he's going to go, I don't know. Maybe they do a Tua for Kyler trade, send him to Miami, or he goes to Pittsburgh, maybe the Jets, maybe Minnesota. But we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting. But I think he definitely is out of Arizona. Los Angeles Rams. This one was tougher. Obviously, they have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. And then Stafford's not going anywhere. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, really good running back duo. And this whole defense is really young. Braden, Kobe, Byron, Nate, Jared, Cam Curl's decently young. Quinn Lake. So it's a really young unit. So I just went with Darius Williams, 32 years old. I don't think he will get traded. But if he does, it's going to be like a draft night kind of deal just to get some of these other corners, or if they draft. See, the thing is, with Darius Williams is the Rams have 2 first-round picks. So I really think like they're going to be aggressive and get somebody to improve certain spots on their team, rather that's secondary or whatever. So I think Darius Williams might be traded or released to make money and stuff like that for that. But they do have a lot of rookie contracts coming up, so they're definitely going to have to move on from some veteran players. And then the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, we're not going to talk about him. He doesn't deserve to be talked about right now the way he's been, but he's going to get traded for sure. Seattle, this one was tough too. Super Bowl champions, they're not going to want to change much, as they shouldn't. They have a young defensive core. Witherspoon's good. Monwarrier is good. Julian Love, when he came back, he played excellent in that 2 high role. Leonard Williams was very impactful for them this year. DeMarcus Lawrence was good. Cooper Kupp, Shichi, JSN, one of the best trios that played this season. But I ultimately went with Drew Lock. I could see Charbonnet, but I think Drew Lock makes more sense. This is similar to what I said yesterday with if you guys are watching Davis Mills on the Texans. It's going to be a very mid to low quarterback free agency. So there may be some backups who get a call, and Drew Lock could be one of them. You know, teams that need a quarterback make a trade aggressive offer for teams who have a good backup like Drew Lock. He's solid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below who you think is going to get traded. What's the biggest name to get traded? And if I get over 16 out of 32 right on this list, I win. If I don't, I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm right though. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, comment down below who you want your team to make a trade for. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.